Hong Kong. I heard Hogwarts for some reason.
No, we're on about Hong Kong, mate.
Why would you make
We're talking about the idea
Leave the fucking Chinese
inviting
alone.
Hong Kong back into the family of the United Kingdom.
Oh,
I would like to invite the people of Hong Kong back into the family of the United Kingdom.
Right.
And restore their liberties and their rights.
Whoa.
Well, not liberties, but their rights at least.
Mike just had a great point that if we made Hong Kong Great Britain again, that would mean Bruce Lee would be a national hero of ours.
That's a good thought, actually.
He was a national hero. Hang on, Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna block her.
Yeah, Bruce Lee's fine because it was Jackie Chan that's the sellout, so that's fine.
Okay, perfect. I finally got her blocked. I blocked that.
Stop hating the movie stars, mate.
Peace out. I don't like
We're
that.
all about that celebrity gossip.
Oh.
So, have you guys heard the latest in Hong Kong?
No, what's up?
Latest in Hong Kong.
There is protests going on left, right, and centre. 2 years ago we had the Umbrella Revolution, which was basically like 1 million people in Hong Kong with umbrellas and shit. And basically, the mainland China wants to decide who gets to be sort of like the president of Hong Kong, basically, the top job. Yeah, and it's a non-democratically elected position picked by the CCP.
Whoa, who the fuck is the CCP? Like fucking
Chinese Communist Party, mate.
Wait, so China is fucking communist the whole time, but they say they're capitalists?
Yeah, it's
They've always
crony
been communist, yeah.
It's crony
capitalism. Well, my friend Jeff, he just came back from China, spending 9 months there, and he actually showed me some Chinese money. They actually still have Mao Zedong's face on it.
Yeah, it's because he's like fucking great dear leader, isn't he? Fucking founder of the CCP.
They can't really admit that was a fuck up, or put them in a pretty sketchy position.
I really don't like communism, just because, like, you know, I understand the setup. It looked alright at one point, but then it fucked up to the very end.
Mate, come on, nobody likes communism. Like, that's the worst idea ever made.
The only
that's
people
like,
that would like,
come on.
the only people that would like that.
Yeah, I can talk to you for days about communism and how it fucks up everything that it touches. Literally.
Oh, what, don't you only get like don't you get like limited food? You don't get good education.
You don't get nothing. You get like, if you go to the shop, you get just imagine like you have Coca-Cola and Pepsi, but it's the same thing, and it's only this.
Oh, wow.
It's only this, right?
Yeah, so that's a utopia.
Like in Cuba, because I've saw recently like a documentary about the life in Cuba.
Yep.
And it was about their interviewing this family at one point, and they're saying, so this is a bag of rice, which is about 250, say 10 kilograms. I was going to say 250 grams, but that's not enough at all. So say 10 kilograms, for example, right? That's supposed to last the family for an entire month.
Yeah.
Entire month, right? You go to the shop, there's 2 packs of cigarettes in the entire shop. And you buy one cigarette. Yeah, we buy one cigarette with half of your payment from your from your monthly payment, for example. And some crazy shit like this. It's so insane that you have to be like.
Yeah, you're not gonna last.
If you look at the minimum standard, like how poor people live in this country, for example, not homeless people, just like the bottom people, the majority of the poorest people. Yeah, they would live better than what the working class people in Cuba would live. Yeah, it's so fucking horrendous.
Yeah, that's horrid. That's horrid out there. Yeah, yeah. Because I was like talking with the communists the other day, and I asked them like, well, if capitalism provides with the free market, how does communism revolt up against that? Isn't that the Marxist ideology to make people get corrupted and fucking go off in revolutionary wars? Because I mean, Russia did that for a very long time. And then he was trying to tell me, well, no, that's not true because, they just took it the wrong way in Marxism. And I'm like, trying to figure that out after he said that. I'm like, yo, my nigga, like, how many people that die versus in fascism? And you're going to tell me that communism is way better when clearly it's, it's communism is cousins with fascism. Like they're no different from each other.
That's
the
why
only
it's called
difference...
National Socialism. That was the way Hitler presented it to his supporters.
Yeah, but wait.
Socialism.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about, but this is what I just asked Jay like before you got on. If socialism is that bad, then why not places like Sweden should be labeled as a shithole? Aren't they like a shithole? Like if they're that bad,
they're pretty much all right.
The issue with Scandinavian countries is that they are so land and resource rich that they can implement a crazy amount of schemes that other places can't. For example, the UK does not have the amount of land, natural resources, or production to do the same thing as Scandinavian countries. It's very much a case-by-case basis. We make most of our money off of diplomatic opportunity, so that those are the links that we need to foster, and that's the system that we need to foster.
But hold on, Esme. Russia had so much land and so much resources. How come they fucked up?
Full-blown communism, mate.
Communism.
A mistake.
I mean, I definitely would have seen Russia come out a lot better as a capitalist nation. They definitely would have not had Stalin come in there, along with Khrushchev and all the other faggots that ran the shit. Because if you want to know something, who was that guy? Tsar Nicholas. Oh fuck, I forgot his name. But basically, he was supposed to bring prosperity to Russia before he got killed. And the guy that was supposed to take over as a new Red Army Communist Party, which was started by Stalin, it was Joseph Stalin. He was basically offered to run with the whole newer era of Russia's newer communist regime, and then that's where everything got fucked up. They just basically proved themselves to be more weaker after World War I. And then leading into World War II. And like I wanted to ask you this, Jay. Do you think Russia, like as far as the communists go, do you think that they treated Jews with the utmost respect, or did they kill them?
What, Russia?
Yeah, the Soviet Union.
Oh, they fucking killed them, mate. Where do you think all the anti-Semitic propaganda came from in the first place?
Yeah, so they basically helped out the Nazis, right? Yeah, they fucking helped their asses out. Yeah. Delirious of douchebags. That's what I'm saying. Because back in 1944 or 45, when the U.S. American troops were going down through the Rhine River to take out Germany, I could have sworn that we helped them out because Russia was treating them like a piece of shit. So we were trying to tell them to back the fuck off before it got worse.
Nah, mate. It was a race to Berlin.
Yeah. So what about the Jews? How did they get freed? By us or by you guys?
Oh, well, the Russians liberated a load of camps, and we liberated a load of camps, basically.
Yeah, but if you're saying to me that they killed them, doesn't that mean that they killed them during the war?
The Russians did that after. They didn't do that
Oh, okay, after. All right, they didn't do it during.
Yeah.
All right.
What I understand.
I always get mixed up about that because I've always thought Russia was really that grimy in World War II.
This is just terrible, man.
Oh wait, do you have the device control to boost up the volume?
Yeah. Who do you
Yeah. Like I was just curious. That's all. Cause
does my mic censor that?
I don't know. I have my shit all the way up, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, mate.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah, but my question, back to the whole communist thing. If communism is really that big of a deal, why can't we just, why can't let the whole West just accept North Korea right now?
Oi, Bossman, let me just crack open. Let me just crack open a cold one. Let me just crack open a cold one. I'll be back about the topic of communism because this is something that I love talking about. Yeah, give me a sec.
I love slamming communism.
Of course, he loves talking about communism.
Communism was the best ideology I could always slam about. Because I knew that going through high school, I didn't give a fuck about it. But as I got older, it actually taught me there's a lot more problems, in it. Because that's what inspired most of Asia, most of the Middle East. So I'm surprised why communism has definitely, put a big blood stain on them. But I don't know. Wait, is Afghanistan communist right now, or what's their stance?
About communism.
Are you serious? Afghanistan is still communist?
Fucking love it, mate.
No, Afghanistan's
Oh,
not communist.
fuck Afghanistan. Wow. Talk about Kabul having a fucking 150
like
people.
So you thought of Afghanistan before you found that out?
No. Like, because I knew way back then when I did research on Afghanistan, because I was doing like a huge project on Islamic fundamentalism, and I actually heard that they were a republic. So I was thinking, you know, Islam is more a right-wing, you know, ideology. So wouldn't they be fascists instead of being communists if they're all in it for the, you know, ideologue? I don't know. Like,
they're all in it for the love of Marx, mate. That's what
they
they're
really.
in for.
They really looked him up.
Britain, it's for the love of course.
They really looked up to him.
They're just turned on by his massive white beard, you know. It's so jihadi to them. It's so jihadi that it turns them on.
Yo, that's so crazy though, because I could just imagine how many people that are just in total, you know, massive depression. And it's just like that's really fucked up. And I understand, like, due to the whole refugee thing, like, cause me, like I said to Jay, and probably I think I said it to you. Well, no, I don't think I've ever said it to you, but I say it with everybody. I want a healthy immigration. I don't want a fucked up immigration.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's actually a very interesting subject that you brought up, because last summer I went to this pub with my mate, and we were just, you know, going there for a couple of beers, and we met these two Swedish dudes sitting next to us. They heard us, we were talking English, so, you know, they just invited us to a table. And so we just begged the question, what are you guys doing in Bulgaria? Isn't, like, Sweden a much better country? Surely it's a much better country, right? And they're like, mate, with this immigrant crisis, our country is getting proper fucked. Like, for a person,
I don't blame them.
For a person who is born in the country, like, who's working there, already established, has a family, has a job, it's much harder and much more expensive to get a place to live, to, like, buy a house, you know, to even rent a house. It's much harder than it is someone from the fucking Middle East who's never stepped foot in Europe before to get a, you know, to get housing there. It's so ridiculous.
That's really crazy, because I think that they're just promoting more unethical, you know, immigration. Well, I'm not gonna act like Trump on this, but, you know, if illegal immigration is really like the, you know, equivalence to bad people taking over your country, then no, I would not want to give up a beautiful nation that you've spent hundreds of years in just to a bunch of slobby, you know, assholes. Fuck that. Yeah.
No, to be fair, Trump is on point when it comes to immigration. Although, you know.
He fucked it up when he fucked it up when he started talking about Mexico. Like, you know, there wasn't anything going on in Mexico. Like, legit, Mexico was minding their own business for the past 20 to 30 years, and then you just talk shit about them. How does that even work out? Like, how does, like, a bunch of, you know, fucking Sereno gang members want to fucking take down, like, Americans versus actual terrorist attacks where these terrorists were, you know, nationally born, and they swore, like, allegiance to Al Qaeda and fucking, you know, all the other terrorist, you know, regimes. That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's an interesting situation you have in Mexico, because even though the drug trade and the cartels, they shouldn't be a central focal point in many other countries, but in Mexico you have to make them a central focal point when you're talking about illegal immigration, because as well you have the cartels corrupting the government, you have all of this drug-related illegal immigration actually fucks with the Hispanic communities more than it fucks with anyone else, because those are the communities people coming integrating with.
Because that's the same thing.
It's such a clusterfuck. It's so difficult to separate illegal immigration from the cartels that it is a good idea not to try. Otherwise, you're not addressing the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it gives them a bad name, and it's like, if you just want to seek, you know, amnesty, you know, to be in another nation, that makes it a lot harder to be a citizen. And that's why that when Jay was telling me, just because I'm like a U.S. American, well, correct me if I'm wrong, like, I don't fucking know how it works, but if I'm like, let's just say that I have a clean record, that I haven't murdered nobody, I didn't do any crimes, does that make it like a lot less longer for my immigration status to be a citizen? Or Like, what's the criteria?
If you're a non-US coming into US. That what you're asking?
Yeah. I want to become a citizen at Britain, hypothetically. So. Yeah, if I had Wait, what?
I see. Oh, you mean to become a citizen of Britain from the US?
Yes, yes.
Well, actually, our criteria is pretty lax.
Yes,
like, you can, you know, if you can find someone to employ you here, like, there's very little they will do to stop you. They won't let you, but this is the thing as well, they won't let you come over here to visit too often if you have like family here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The laws are kind of fucked here. They need revising really badly.
Yeah.
Like, we need to stop unskilled workers coming to the country.
Yeah,
because
like,
people have nowhere to put them, and it's displacing the whole British working class at the moment.
Yeah, because without like, the civil working class, it's just gonna crash the whole British economy.
Yeah. It puts us in a really difficult position. We also have just like a really tangled web of equality and diversity laws that just don't work and just cost companies money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the moment, for example, workers coming from the EU, let's just pick Latvia as an example. There are 22 different dialects in Latvia.
Yeah.
So if you're an employer and you are obligated to employ the Latvian who came to interview, because you cannot discriminate against them because they don't speak English. So you employ that Latvian, but that Latvian can't even train the next Latvian you employ because they speak completely different fucking languages. Because one's from one side of the mountain and the other one's from the other side of the mountain. So what do? You're legally obligated to employ them now. So it just costs so much money and it causes so many problems when it comes to the workings of businesses.
Yeah, they're just going to speak English then?
That is difficult.
They don't have to speak Latvian though, Esme. They can just speak English.
Yeah,
well, that's why
actually speak English before they get here.
Yeah, they need to like assimilate.
How many Europeans when they come here already?
Mate, you have the point-based test. You can't come to the country without having some form of like basic English.
Yeah,
like that's the points-based system is introduced by. It's like it's accepted by the European Union. Although they at first it was a bit, there was a lot of reforms that had to be made in order to be accepted, but still it's tough enough to like ban or to prevent people who have like no clue of how the English language works for coming here. Although a very interesting thing is I saw this guy who was like on the at the airport. It was like literally before I came. Before I came to Bristol this month, he was from Bulgaria. He did not know anything in English. Like had nothing. Like he did not speak English at all, and they just let him in. And I was like, I hope this guy's just visiting here, because if you're just letting in people like that,
that would be a disaster. Oh no, that's not the same thing out here in America where you have a bunch of Middle Easterners. No disrespect to them, but well. Yeah, fuck you too, most of the radical Muslims. But basically, they have a hard time speaking English, and whenever they do talk, it's the same thing with the Indians and the same thing with the Chinese, where they have no effing clue when I say any type of slang. Like, like I'm just gonna go to the to the restroom real quick, and then they try to ask me like a bunch of questions to say, like, do you want this type of item or do you want that type of item? Which I tell them the exact thing I want, and then they still don't understand. And I think like I feel like an asshole saying that to them, but then at the same time I'm just like, dude, this is like a level of like like just at the level of people that we're letting in now. No, like that's what I'm saying. Like learn how to speak English. And I mean that's not me being like a nationalist, but geez, like if you're not gonna basically train yourself to become a U.S. American, then why did you bring yourself out here? Like that's what I'm saying. Like you need to have some sort of knowledge to learn how to assimilate like in our nation's policies. Because if I were to do the same thing out in Germany, then all the Germans would look at me like, okay, what the fuck are you doing? Like you don't know any few words to communicate, more so you're not fluent. That's what I'm saying. Like I would have like gotten into like my books and learning so I can learn more about the culture and language. I don't know, Jay, do you think that's a bad thing?
I wish oh, you go for it, Jay.
I was just going to say, I'm a terrible Englishman because my belief is that you should all speak English.
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie.
I would never move to any country without an intention to become fluent in the language. I think it's highly disrespectful.
Yeah, it's really disrespectful if you don't care about the nation's, like a simulation of knowing how to communicate like any other logical human being. So
yeah, and I wouldn't move to a country whose culture I disliked and was set against in any way. So like I don't see the problem with assimilating to the language and the culture of the UK when you come here. Because like I mean that's what I would do in any country I move to. I'm going to emigrate to America in the next year or so, and like I wouldn't dream of disrespecting the American culture when I lived there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that would be a terrible thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I definitely see where you're coming from, but it's like if you were to disrespect it, you have no clue how we act. You don't know what type of level of culture that we do live. It's either if you're hanging out with a bunch of black people or a bunch of white people. It depends on where you're at. And I mean, for every state has its own vernacular of how they act. Because a lot of Southerners, they don't speak, like actual fluent English. Like some of them have that little slur in them, where they can't really generate the words that you think that they're saying. So it's all in a mysterious way of speaking. Because you may think that you're trying to say like the right thing to somebody, but for some people who will be completely ignorant. That is a battle of
ignorant, man. Just ignorant.
Yeah, battle of culture war. Like just even take a look at it if you're in like the most ghetto neighborhood. Like you will never have a good decent conversation with somebody that doesn't care for what you're trying to respect for them, because they're already used to shitting on people every day. So why should they care like about you? Like
nah, man, you can't say just because you're born in a ghetto you act disrespectfully to people who are outside of your, let's say, community.
Yeah, I know it's not really ethical, and nobody shouldn't be doing that.
No, I'm just saying you can't say that because someone is from a ghetto or some other part of the world or the country you live in doesn't mean they're gonna act disrespectfully to you just because you're from that other side. Like it could be the case, depending on how the relations between those two sides of the country are. Because in my country, for example, the west side of Bulgaria has no problem with the east side, but the east side has a problem with us.
Are you
and
serious?
It's kind of like, yeah, because because on the west side it's kind of like the more richer side, because that's where the capital country is. And so all of the other people are like, oh yeah, we dislike you, man. At least I've experienced that.
Divide in Britain.
Yeah. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They just say this because we're Danes, kind of like that scenario.
You're like, hey, what's going on? Oh, yeah. Really? You want some euro?
Yeah.
You're not gonna get any. Fuck you.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying that's not always the case. That is, it's the case in Bulgaria because we have some like very uneducated people, but otherwise, I don't think that's like what you're saying is kind of like by definition the proxy, because it's not. Yeah. It depends on the individual level, at least how I see it.
Yeah, that's true. Because if you were to go out to New York City, you'll have to, run into a bunch of idiots. But it depends on who you run into. Like it's not always bad apples wherever you go. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like because you're born in a ghetto doesn't mean you're going to be a bad apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
true.
Yeah, because I just have this really bad feeling. Like I'm not trying to have any guilt of me being like American, but I mean like I just kind of feel like for most Europeans, like they just think America is just like a snobby nation, and like when they come over, they should have that right too to act like a snobby piece of shit.
Oh man, when it comes to America, most Europeans don't know their ass from their elbow. They really have no fucking clue. It's really interesting in the UK. The prejudice against America and Americans is like so rife. So right.
True. That is true. Like, I know I take the piss, and I know I joke about, you know, oh, you damn Americans, you traitors, you terrorist bastards and whatnot. But
yeah, because
be serious, you'll be surprised at how many people.
I was talking to this guy from like he was from Romania, and he told me, yeah, like your country is really that dumb, and I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you, but you know, you shouldn't just always, you know, regard to everybody living there. And then he's like, yeah, like I understand what you're talking about, but I just kind of feel like every time when I have to put up with a, you know, ignorant U.S. piece of shit, American, like it just never works well in a conversation. And I'm like, yeah, I understand, because it's like it's just how we're raised. It's like we have shitty parents, and you know, there's not too many good parents that you could call a good family. Like, I mean, you know, there will always be some good families out there, and there will be a lot of good, you know, pretentious, you know, generations to help out, you know, the nation. But I just have this really, you know, deep feeling that if we have more, you know, fucking dumbasses, you know, coming out of a mom's womb, you know, I think that's what's going to hurt us more, don't you think? Because if you guys want to come over to like the nation along with any other generation of people from Europe or wherever, like that's going to put a bad image for us. Like, you know, we're going to act like a bunch of patriotic losers. And that's what I really think of my nation sometimes. We're just a bunch of losers trying to act tough. But, you know,
you're
I could be wrong.
Nation as well. Like, because you're such a young nation, there is also like there is still a lot of things that are unsettled to your national identity. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I think that British people especially should have more respect for America simply because you're our kid that done the best.
You're the only one that grew up properly and left home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, I am so fucking outnumbered in this conversation. Be like, you need to shut the fuck up, get on your damn knees, and suck the cock of the queen. Yes.
Well, yeah, that too.
That too.
Oh fuck no! Oh wow, yo, oh wow, that is just.
It's alright. You got Rusty. Rusty.
That's total slavery.
This is the foreigner made, isn't it?
That's slavery.
Foreigner.
Oh, we're gonna no. That's not slavery. That's called royal monarchist lifestyle. You're gonna be our little children now. Here's the crumpets and tea. Oh. Okay, that was a terrible accent.
It wasn't terrible actually. It was alright.
No, like, well, see, like the thing is that on my DNA, I'm actually part French Canadian, so I'm actually a half Puerto Rican. I got that black nigga mode on me, so you know the
fucking does.
Yeah,
see his Instagram account.
Yeah. So I might have a few free blackies. I might have a few slave members, but that doesn't matter. But I mean, if you know the true root of being a dark person, you just have to have some good diversity love. Because when you got that, that's what imports the fried chicken and Kool-Aid later on coming in time. So that way, unity between the dark chicken and like the white chicken, that turns into like caramel mocha chicken. So that means that you just went into voodoo mode, that you just turned like everybody into like a nice, flourishing, tasty, you know, product.
Oh, dude, you got to stop talking about chicken because I want chicken now.
Dude, come over to fucking... Yo, you got to come over to, like, my nation, bro. Popeyes. Popeyes.
Mate, he barely got out a passport. He barely got out a passport, let alone a fucking green card. Come on.
Oh, he'll be coming.
Oh, really?
He'll be coming. He'll be coming to...
Is he actually? Oh, Jay.
Yeah.
When
Jay's gonna be Mrs. America soon.
I thought Mr. like America, but he won't be like the Uncle Sam with the U.S. hat. He'll be Roger John with that British flag.
I suppose it would make Josh happy, Esme, me going to America and living the Republican ideals.
Yeah, you're obviously going to come over and see me, aren't you? So come on now.
Of course.
Come on.
Got to be done, man.
We've got to get Got to get rhubarb enrolled in some gun lessons, mate. Some shooting lessons.
Oh yeah, you know we're going to take her some gun lessons. You know it. Could get her a nice little 45 Magnum or something.
Shay, you
no,
really
she's
like
tiny.
Guns.
You need to get her a rifle.
Jay's a fan of guns.
Yeah, I can just imagine her with a big fat
Jay
rifle.
has to be a fan of guns.
Targets.
He likes guns.
He
likes guns.
Not a fan of guns. Will be.
I'm not a fan of guns. I really don't like guns.
We're going to America.
America, mate. America.
Yeah.
We got me Second Amendment.
Yeah, those MAGA hats that I see, like once in a blue moon, they're just so like they look like little toddler hats.
Oi Jay, you gotta carry one for protection, aren't you? You gotta carry one for protection.
Wait,
yeah,
man, I don't promote that.
Is that why they call them? Is that why they call them assault rifles? Because they're for protection.
Yo, Jay. Yo, Jay.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, does Britain promote Make America Great Again hats?
Of course they do.
No, we do not.
Everywhere, no, he's lying, mate. Every second person on the street is wearing a Make America Great Again hat. Literally every second fucking person. I'm looking outside my window right now. There's like people just standing in a circle, and all they're wearing like red hats saying Make America Great Again, and they're beating on a bunch of fucking immigrants.
On their corpses. Fucking Britain! Long live the white guys! Get the fuck out of here, you black asses!
Yeah.
That would be.
I do actually have a Donald Trump T-shirt where he's wearing golden armor and lasers are shooting out.
Yeah, mate.
And it's my favorite top. Actually, it's my favorite T-shirt.
That's actually kind of funny, though.
I can't actually wear it in public in the city of Bristol because it's the regressive capital of the city.
Yeah.
And like,
it is, yeah.
Violence.
I feel so bad for you, but at the same time, it's like, like I can't even hate on that because it's like just because like you just like just a few things out of Trump that shouldn't have to hurt anybody's feelings like that. Like, literally, one man really triggered, like, that many people. Like, for me, like, I basically was over this election, and I didn't give a fuck who was going to win either way. But, I mean, in my honest opinion, I wouldn't care if Hillary or Bernie won because I was like, oh, well, I mean, like, I just didn't want this nation going to shit. But, I mean, like, with the level of people that want to beat everybody up due to their political views, that's just really pussy, like, in my opinion. I just think it's...
I've been sitting in like lectures and stuff, and I'm hearing these two girls like in front, and there's one of them is saying, "Oh, I fucking hate this guy. I just want him to die. Yeah, Trump is so disgusting. He's a fucking pig." And that's a conversation that people are having every day. If you don't bitch and moan about Trump, and about America, you're not like a functioning member of society in this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're better than him, so why not just drop it? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care about what he was saying something over Twitter the other day, like how he abused these two women at like some Mexican Telmex party, and then like Jeb Bush was like talking about it like as if that was such a big deal, and then he's like, oh, so inappropriate, very disgusting. You are just a total disaster. And I'm like, okay, here we go again. And like legit, like I looked at a few of the tweets and then everybody's like, oh, well, fuck that white piece of shit and, let the KKK burn with him. And I'm like, I mean, like there was even like a Photoshop photo of him wearing a KKK uniform. And I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, there was rumors saying that he did have connections with them, but I think that's all mainstream media pseudoscience bullshit. Really trying to, like just wash him up to be that bad, but he's really not a threat to me. Like because I just know that he's a closet, idiot. He likes to play everything safe. He's not even a closet
idiot anymore, right? Everybody knows he's an idiot now.
Yeah, he's a globalist and a nationalist, right? Like, oh wait, is globalism and nationalism bad at the same time, or
they're both? Know. No, globalism is a good thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so if I want to be like Hitler, then I'm a nationalist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where everything got, deteriorated. Because
there's no nuance anymore. People like see globalism and nationalism on these opposite ends of the scale, and they're so absolute. But actually, neither of them have to be absolute. You can have great nationalist policies, and you can also have great globalist policies, and you can have them both together. There's no need to go hell for leather, one or the other.
Okay.
You
know. My only concern is that if people want to be tribal and want to beat the living shit out of you because they think it's right to do it, that's where everybody that's on the regressive end to like label every majority racial population to be like an insane piece of shit. And I think that's where everything falls into its deregulations, and people want to tear shit down. I just think like with me living in, okay, like put it like this, like because I go to a 2-year community college school out in New York, and I study computer science, but there's this there's a few groups at my college that would support anti-white bigotry movements, and one of them was a Muslim, I think it was a Muslim student like association group, where these people at the college would promote everything out of their Quran to try to promote Sharia law, and these assholes are saying fuck white people in like little legit. And then I'm like, yo, New York can't be shitting me right now, right? Like there's like there's a good number of whites that go to my college, but I mean still, with this nation being majority white, yeah, like I'm pretty sure like this is racism as we speak. And then when I was bringing it up with one of my, there's this guy who basically was trying to run for student senate, and he actually got the job for it. But, he was trying to, break down those issues to say like, that's what we're fighting up against every day. Like, basically, like the student, groups, at the college trying to promote, Black Lives Matter, pro-Palestine and fuck Israel movements. Yeah, just a lot of crazy shit. I'm really shocked. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you mean, man. It's so easy to get away with. This is one of the things that blows my mind, because it's relatively similar here. You have all this basically fucking politicized white guilt. Loads of fucking kids who are like really embarrassed that their parents are like make good money and look after them and shit. And they just and also you have the people promoting Sharia and stuff like that, but then they use these overly politicized children basically to push their message. And then if you say anything against them, you're a racist or you're a sexist, you're a bigot in some way, even if you actually fall within the demographic of someone who is from a minority ethnicity or a woman, or if you are gay or trans individual, if you speak out against it, you're not the right kind of minority because you're not agreeing with these vicious, violent, like pseudo-terrorists.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it all comes down to ideological conviction. Really, it doesn't matter what you really stand for. It's what you say. It doesn't matter what you do. It's what you believe in. You know what I mean? That's the double standard that the modern day, kind of like so-called progressive policies have given birth to, and unless you're the victim, you're not going to be paid attention to. That's why people actively try to to act like the victims of something. Doesn't matter what it is, just portray yourself as a victim. Everybody's going to flock onto you. Everybody's going to try to to silence your oppressor, or to make an enemy out of the people who are like supposedly oppressed. It doesn't matter. Just people have lost, they just don't have anything to protest against, so they find whatever. They just literally make things to protest about something, because it's it's this kind of era that we live in.
Yeah, the romanticization of like the revolutionary.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which I think is horrendous, because revolutions never mean, oh, right, okay, we've had our revolution now, so everyone's got a better life. That has never, ever happened in the
That's a myth, yeah. That's
yeah, that is such a myth. Because revolutions will always come back.
No, you know what we should do? We should invite on our chat someone who actually disagree with us. Like, we're just like the young Turks right now. We're 4 people, just bunch of jackasses, just talking about our own views. Let's invite someone who's like who we can actually debate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need a debate up against these racist fucks, because I think that's what's going to inspire people out of what the general public to be more educated, to know who's like a bad person. Because to my honest opinion, I'm getting sick and tired of these fucking self-hating white asses, and just all these minority douchebags that don't even represent a minority. Like these people are just a bunch of neo-fascist assholes. So,
no, do you know why they're minority? They're minority because not in the sense of they're from an ethnic minority. Yeah, they could be like black or Latino or Asians. Yeah. But Asians don't do that. But I'm just saying, they're a minority of in the sense that they are privileged, rich black kids or white kids. They just want to be hip. They just want to be kind of like controversial and rebellious. Let's tear down capitalism, although our entire family's wealth relies on capitalism. Yeah. But regardless of that. Yeah, they just want to play hip, They just want to be popular amongst the other kids. So that's the hip thing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just want to play victim card, calling you, the bad guy, and they're the good person because they're the proud social justice warrior.
But anyway, let's just get someone who's like fairly reasonable but has an opposing view of us, and get a few of those people and just debate them. Just debate them on Jay's channel. We can get some more views because right now we got like 2 views.
Yeah. I've got a guy who could be great actually. Let me pop a message off to him.
Yep.
Hey, that's why I get Will in there.
Yeah, get some fucking assholes on this channel. Tell them to
we don't have to swear at them. You have to shut them down. We're just gonna actually just debate them.
Use actual facts.
Like normal people,
Yeah, have a good civil conversation.
Exactly.
He's not online at the moment. It's fairly late here, but
yeah, it's like 1 o'clock.
Actually, the problem right now we'll probably have is that it's a Friday night, so anyone with a life is
except us. We're a bunch of fucking lifeless scumbags.
I've purged quite a few lefties from my contacts because they're so insufferable. So
oh yeah, how many Facebook friends have you lost since you've changed convictions?
Oh my god, it goes up and it goes down actually, because I have loads of people who are like, oh my god, I can't believe you've said like that people on benefits should get less monies or heaven forbid get a job and stuff like that. Like but then I have people like add me out of nowhere who I don't even know, who are like, hey, I saw the things you're posting and I think you've got some cool shit to say. And so like it goes up and down. I'm like all the lefties are leaving my feed and loads of total fashos are coming and joining in the party.
Yeah.
Yes, me.
Oh wait,
turning the tables.
Esma? Wait, Esma, that's your name?
Esme, yeah.
Oh, Esme. I wanted to ask you, what, are you like a conservative or something?
I am. I would say that I am classically liberal.
Wow.
That is how I would define it. I believe in looking after people if the means are there, but at the end of the day, you can't do things without money, and you can't just take other people's money in order to get things done. That's just immoral, highly immoral. So, I'm your classic libertarian, and there's not really many of those in the UK, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm more of a independent person. I don't really like politics, but I guess on where I stand. Wow, Jay likes to rip me apart by calling my country a piece of shit. tell me that I gotta.
I do that to all Americans. It's not just you. I do it to all.
Well, yeah, like I still like it. When we collide, then we'll shock the world with that white and black connection. So, that day will come. But no, like I just think personally, in my view, people should just be more smarter in society rather than to be either religiously or politically correct and inspired. Because I think at the end of the day, you need to have people that know how to run society better in Earth, because if they really want to take it to the level of corruption, they can do that. And I think that ideas matter for humans to act like a killing machine, and we're not supposed to be like that.
Yeah, I would agree, definitely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the like political identity stuff is like a lot of bullshit, to be honest with you. I think it's a tool of control. You define people's identity by these beliefs that they are encouraged to adopt. This is the thing as well. Like, so many people, they tout these political beliefs, and it's like, actually, have you spent more than fucking 10 minutes thinking about the things you say you believe? Because I don't think you have. They're wildly inconsistent, because it's all a part of the identity. It's not actually any consideration going into those views. It's like, oh, how will I look if I say I believe in this, rather than like, actually, how do I really feel and what do I really think about these individual beliefs, rather than this set of beliefs you have to adopt in order to be part of the club.
Yeah, and I was just telling Jay, like, from 2 days ago, I think, that take a look at a fully religious nation. Like, we know we know where we fucked up in. And I mean, the secular value has always been winning. Like, you can't run a nation unless you have, intelligent people helping you out. Like, you can't just, personally, if we can't seem to unify as humans, then there has to be certain type of laws to state that dumb humans will be more prominent to do. Because if you don't have any order and control to maintain the human lifestyle to be a balanced environment, then that's what's going to enforce more people to be more subscribed to evil ideas, to take over in office, to ruin your country or wherever you live in, vice versa. So that's why that I think that in me and Jay's opinion, it's best to defend your right to live. And protect the lives of others that try to mess you up, because these people, they're just highly unethical, and they're intellectually dishonest too. That's why oh wait, what? I'm sorry.
I was agreeing with you for sure. I think there's I think a lot of people's beliefs can really just be like put to one side, and like you can say, okay, but do you agree with hurting people and impinging their rights to get what you want? And if the answer is yes, then you're a fucking terrible person. And if the answer is no, you may continue.
Yeah. Like for me, I'm a full blown, highly supporting atheist, but I think it's not just because of, I just want to be equal with everybody. No, I want humans to act better than for what we are right now. We can do a hell lot better than for what we're doing right now. And the progression that we're doing is what's going to put a bigger effect as the years go on, because, as dumber as people get, the superpowers might be dumb enough to launch a nuclear bomb and try to call it, ends meet with humanity, and just try to think that's, the best solution to kill more people, and it's not. We've seen what will happen after that's commenced, and it's just gonna be like another to 1,000 reboot years to make a homeland, from nothing to turn into something, much better, and then newer laws and regulations, because you still have the religiously insane trying to be all dictating, lifeless bastards. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, anyway,
Mike's being disruptive in the chat.
Yeah, but I agree.
Saying, but what about Hong Kong?
Exactly, I agree.
What about Hong
Kong? Fuck them niggas.
What about Hong Kong?
That's what I'm saying. A bunch of communist bastards.
The United Kingdom.
He says we should arm them with tactical nukes. I think this would be the ultimate game, basically. When we decide that we're through with Earth, you know, when we've depleted all the resources and we've like gone to space, found ourselves some other places to live, you know, we've evacuated the planet, we'll be like, all right, everyone gets like 15 nukes and just go for it. Let's see what happens.
Survival of the fittest, that's like the next level.
Like, man, that's a beautiful idea. Just blow everybody out.
In this scenario, everyone's evacuated from the planet, so we basically just, you know, get to use it as our own personal, like, video game war zone. And wasteful about it.
Wait, so you're saying, like, after we've just wasted, like, all the resources on Earth?
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of planets. It's fine. There are loads.
The thing is that human genetics with another planet is not possible until there's a way of mechanism to allow ourselves to live in different planets. So,
oh, dude, we'll be so technologically advanced by that point.
Yeah, I understand. We'll be
killing
like
in biodomes, like
we'll be able to. Yeah, we'll be able to cure that STD that you get after banging 50 women. I get it, but you know, I just think, you know, as far as like, I just think as far as like defending your land and having love for your land, like, you know, like you're gonna just blow up, you know, like, you know, the planet that you grew up in. So now, what, newer humans are gonna grow up in like another planet now? Mars, Uranus, Pluto.
I didn't say it was a functional plan. I just said it would be a laugh. You know.
I would go on a rampant just looking at how many planets would be taken over by humans. Like, that would be funny. I'd be laughing so hard. But I don't know. Like, I had a really big debate with somebody when I was working last night, because I work full time over at Wendy's here in New York. But basically I got into this big gigantic argument with this, you know I got into this big argument with this person, you know, like where she was trying to debate with me to say that, oh, do you think aliens exist? And then I said, fuck no, they don't. And then she was getting all angry. And I told her, why would you think that they do exist? Like, what's your point?
Because they run the world's government, man.
Yo, Jay, screw the aliens. Yo, go to war with them. Damn. Nah, just kidding.
These fucking globalists. The globalist conspiracy theories, they're real. They're really coming to get you. We need to override the system, otherwise they're going to destroy our American way of life.
Yo, Jay, did you see the video where Devin was talking about the existence of aliens with his dad?
Sorry, say that again, dude.
Did you see the video where Devin made a video about him and his father talking about if aliens did existed?
Yeah, I couldn't believe that about Devin's old man. I couldn't believe it.
Like I was like, dude, why does his father, who is a man of reason and science, and I want to say most likely he's a full-blood atheist, but I mean, dude, like that's how gullible people could be about God too. So, you know, if you're going to restructure that into the form of aliens, then no, I'm gonna have to really say no on that, because the aliens might as well expose themselves, as many people believe that aliens can be invisible. So, okay. Where the fuck are they? Number one. Number two, where do you stand in all this role playing for the human? Like, what you just basically spawned us and then you just never, you know, cared to come back? So what now? So now in 2017, you're coming back to basically redo us a favor, to see how much smarter that we've gotten in killing people and being more violent. No, I think that's really horseshit, because, you know, that's all in a conspiracy's work to say that you're made to be a genetic freak show, and that's really dangerous. And I think that you know, as far as the alien goes, there's a lot of conspiracies saying that the government was trying to cover up all the deaths that people somehow die from, like a pack of aliens in the what's that place called? Area 51. yo, that shit was such a fucking hoax. Because you want to know why?
There is some really interesting stuff with the alien evidence, though. I am a total believer. Like, and some of it is discountable as fuck. Some of it you can throw out the window. It's obviously just crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I can make a false accusation of me working, and then I could say that I've been abducted, but I have no proof of evidence to show where I was, how I was taken, where was the actual cause of this happening. And then I reported out to the police somehow after, like 20 or 30 minutes after the whole issue had started. So that just comes to show how weak people are when it comes to conspiracies. Because put it to your mind, if you're gonna get taken by another creature, you best be sure that you fight. That you fight that shit before you die.
I'm just gonna say this when it comes to the whole alien.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if somebody got attacked by a bear, we can know that person got attacked by a bear by knowing that he either got mauled or he was really lucky enough to get out of that situation. But for an alien, that is really, really, illogical. Because scientifically, what would this alien do? Would this alien be like the alien xenomorph from Aliens vs. Predator? Oh, nah. If it was like that, then definitely I want to see a queen bug right now. Fuck that shit. That's what I'm saying. I will blast like the living shit out of that, fucking monster. I don't care, like if you want to see some tribal human beings, oh yeah, you are gonna trigger them really hard.
Come to America.
Oh, bitch, I live here. Damn. Fucking Donald Trump my ass, bro. Fuck. If you want to blow up cars today, go right ahead. See how that happens.
Now, I think the aliens are going to get here and they're just going to go full Ferengi and open up trade. That would be the smartest thing to do. Like,
okay.
Why would you just go around blowing up other worlds? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, if I was alien, which I mean, but technically we are all aliens when you think about us as in the context of space. We go to another planet. I want to be opening up trade with these people. I want to be buying cool shit off them. I want to be selling them our cool shit. Like that's what I want. Like
it all makes sense. That makes much more sense than coming in and conquering.
Because it would capitalize our economy.
Yeah, exactly. I understand where you're coming. With what you're saying, like we can expand.
Mate, all it takes is us to get
make
hold
humanity
of
look a
asteroid,
lot more vibrant and a
rich.
lot more different when we start looking at other places. But I mean, logically, we need to focus on our planet, and the problem is that we are like, compared to other planets, we are like the tiniest planet ever that has a lot of space. And I mean, like we're not even intellectually advanced because we're teaching ourselves obviously religion and the political infringement to have people go out and kill people every day. So I don't know how this is gonna work if we want to colonize other planets and we can't even have like the smartest human being to run societies.
We're evolving to be smarter, and this is the thing. We're getting smarter generation on generation. Yeah. This is impeded in the West because now you have these extremely smart people waiting until they're fucking infertile to think about having children, which is a problem. But I mean, there's always going to be somewhere in the world picking up the slack for the rest of us. Yeah. So we may not be breeding at the rate that we should be amongst the more intelligent members of our culture here in the West. But then you have Asian cultures who are extremely intelligent, and they're going through the same evolution of intelligence that we should be. So, I mean, I think it's just a matter of perspective and patience. And I also think that if we only focus on our planet, then we're actually cutting off enormously useful options to ourselves. Like, for example, if you want things here to become extremely cheap and you want everybody to be able to afford a comfortable lifestyle, which we should be aiming for as a planet, then we need to be mining asteroids and shit, man. Everything will become cheap overnight. We need to be really thinking about going into space and doing great things there.
Yeah, we gotta make sure that in space that we're not gonna get fucking hit with an asteroid. Like, you know, I don't know, like, you know, if I do get hit,
mine all of them. Mine all of them. There are asteroids in space that have more gold than our entire planet. Asteroids.
That's what I was like about to add in. Like, if people want to argue about where humans came from, like my best guess on it. Well, no, not a guess. Like, I want to support the best theory with the Big Bang first, and then I wanted to support saying that I think, you know, the Earth itself, along with space, have played the part of making a human.
You're a little bit quiet, Krod. Can you get a bit closer to the mic, hon?
Oh yeah. Can you hear me better? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Yeah, basically, I wanted to say that as far as evolution goes, I really do want to support, you know, the theory of the Big Bang along with space, because you know there's a lot of energy out in the unknown of the spatial environment, where I think that the Earth, along with many other planets, had a ton of energy, and the solar system, when it was fully formed, that's when all the magnitude of, you know, energy and science had morphed out all of material over time, because, you know, before humans, you know, the animals were here first. So, you know, we had gigantic animals ranging from coyotes to fucking dinosaurs to gigantic snakes, like, you know, some mythological people say, but I don't really support that. But I would like to think that's true. But like no, we used to have like a lot of gigantic you know, species here, but then after the whole, you know, evolutionary change of the Earth, which was Pangea, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was changing everything. So after, you know, another push of 1,000,000 years or so, like, you know, finally humans came along, because, you know, throughout the cellular input of creating a standing, you know, vertebrate biological life form that can talk and do a lot of things at once. Like, that's pretty interesting, because, you know, the Earth has so much magnitude of power where it can decide on like what lives and what actually dies out. So it's pretty crazy, because I don't know what else could humans have done, because if we have more than for what we think we do to hone more abilities at once, then I'd say that is you know, pretty interesting, because, you know, like the animals, they think just like us too, but in logical reality, they're doing better than us. They're actually respecting more animals when they die. But for us, like, you know, we don't give a shit. We actually keep on killing people. I don't know. It's just...
I don't know. I think I see your argument for sure, and I think you've got some great points, definitely. But I think that you know, one of the things about humans that makes us special and makes us like literally the master race is that we have the ability to consciously improve ourselves and develop our systems of being. You know, some animals are getting to the point where it's looking likely where they will be able to do that now. But if you look at one of our closest relatives, the chimpanzees, they literally skull fuck their enemies. Like, which is something that I'm pretty sure we don't generally do. I mean, there's probably a few rogues out there, but like they still commit acts of organized warfare, and their level of brutality is just incredible, especially compared to us. Actually, you know, we've at least got systems in place and protocols in place where, you know, we will kill people in war, and you know, we do commit violence, but there's like a line, and people are fairly aware of the line, and we do scrutinize those who do go too far. And we are reflective as well, and this is one of our redeeming qualities. We reflect on our actions, and we think about how we can improve as an entire species and what standards we ought to hold ourselves to.
Yeah, I think it's really crazy, because, you know, as much as monkeys are way more powerful than we are, I think this is where the gap like differs between us and them, but I'm not surprised that they could still think like us because take a look at dogs and cats. You know, they can think like us too. So there had to have been some sort of warfare between us, along with, like maybe with chimps, because you know, like a lot of people like to put that theory in there, saying like a chimp is kind of like a friend foe type thing. But I don't know. It's just kind of crazy because I was just talking with somebody like, yeah, if you looked at like the movie, like that sci-fi movie, Planet of the Apes, if monkeys were to do that right now, that would be really like that would be fucking scary.
Yeah. I am legitimately afraid of chimpanzees. They are.
Oh no.
Terrifying.
I would bring every weapon to the fight. Yeah, there would not be any mercy between them. And that's what I'm saying. Like because if the human were somehow comparable with the ape, how come that as far as our evolution, we have different bone structures than them, where we have different ways of forming into short hunchback people, different variations of how we grow. But I mean, I understand that the chromosomes have been together for a certain amount of time, but then where was that gap? What allowed us to be a different type of breed?
Well, I guess it comes down to like natural selection at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just thinking that the Earth had its element to make us into our own DNA race, because the Earth is that powerful enough to evolve energy into a newer form of energy. Where this is where a lot of religious people talk out of their ass to say nothing comes from nothing. No, that's not true. There's something that made nothing come into existence. That is where they really fail in, and I literally hate that when they say that, because they're like, haha, checkmate atheist, because you're that wrong. So I'm right because you gotta believe in my God. Yeah, fucking retarded. Like I cannot deal with that. But I mean, like, who would be worse on talking about that? Would that be the Christian or the Muslim?
Natural selection, what? What up, mate? Natural selection.
Yeah, natural selection. That means combats like you should die, so stronger people can live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, God.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Come on.
Oh wow, I have two
balls.
balls.
The Neanderthals.
So what?
So what?
I'm
the fucking alcoholic Wolverine.
Yeah, what are you doing anyway?
Nothing.
Yo, Jay, where are you, dude?
Where are you, Jay?
I kind of wanted to talk in Russian, but I figured
Who are you talking to?
Just some
Yeah, what happened
live
to
stream tonight.
You got friends.
I have friends.
You got friends.
On Friday night, I'm stuck here talking to my friends instead of doing actually social.
Yeah, what happened to Jay?
That's your friends, Rusty. That's pretty fucking optimistic.
I heard that. That was genius. All right, peace out. I'll see you in the morning. Yeah. I'm starting work at 11 tomorrow.
Are you actually work?
Yeah, Bristol Zoo.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're working tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I'm working next week, actually.
You are?
Yeah, it's mine too. The day before that is.
Yo, Jay, where you at, man?
Hey, Jay, you're
Don't flow.
Yeah, mate.
Where are you?
I'm here.
You had to fix up your mic?
Yeah, my flatmate just came downstairs.
Yeah, just don't let him near the gorillas, yeah? Because we don't
Yeah, Jay, like, you missed out on a really good conversation.
I've been listening.
What about the gorillas?
I was going in. Oh, wait, the gorillas?
The gorillas.
I don't know. That's a pretty tough question, because if the relative that's closest to us is a chimp, then what about the gorillas? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, can't humans have some sort of humongous size, too?
Humongous, mate.
I don't think that's true, because a lot of well, this is what's really crazy. You know how like the Roman Catholics were to be pressed into like the Bible, well, for the Catholics at least. But what's funny is that they would talk about Hercules, as far as like their mythological belief, and they were talking about how they believed in that guys who are taller are like will most likely be like the more prominent humans.
Yeah, the warriors of the tribe, isn't it?
Yeah, just a bunch of tribal hunters.
Yeah.
Well, that was like what, pre-European barbarians, right?
Yeah, that's the kind of shit like they believe during the Spartan era. Like they, the Spartans were descendant of Hercules, and the strong warriors there, they're representing the, kind of like they're descendants of a demigod or something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of crazy of how many tribes were fighting in Europe, and then I, still tended to wonder like how much change that has really brought, the continent. But then, along with Asia, that was in the same sense. But then it's like, basically it's split in like two gigantic, fields, and then it just got like half good and half bad for, some countries, and then majority of them are just shit. I feel bad for China. I really feel.
Oh yeah, on the topic of China, by the way.
Oh yeah, is Hong Kong like about to
make Hong Kong British again?
Exactly.
Make Hong Kong white again. You need to have more white people.
Oh, you racist cunt!
I am racist. Triggered by that. I think that's really insensitive. I think it's problematic. Actually.
Yeah, so bigoted.
Yeah, Russ, I actually got a question. This will be a very cringy question, but this is what I asked to to Jay. But do you think based out of a ethnic race of what type of countries would be better? Do you think a white country is better or a black country is better?
Asian country.
Yeah, the Asians win. They're like, hello, welcome to our country.
They're gonna be the richest country. Well, come on, let's be fair. Like Japan is the most advanced country in the world.
Well, Jay told me that they're failing.
Yeah, man, they're failing. Man. Check out their economic.
Japan are failing. Fuck off.
They've got major national issues, mate. They've got fucking major health problems with their blokes. They've got fucking.
Well, that's kind of an internal thing. Their economy and their technological investment is still booming.
No, their economy
is
stagnant for over 20 years.
China are overtaking them. This is a problem.
Is it actually?
I mean, I don't want more women overpopulating me. So, no.
Really? I would want more women, mate. Come on.
Oh my God! Have you met a woman in your life? No, we don't want it.
Well, I mean, like I actually looked this up on I actually looked this up on YouTube, but I actually typed in, what if women ruled like the world and how would history change?
Oh no!
So just look at British history, mate. We've had plenty of queens.
I think Queen Elizabeth would have a better time just telling all the females to like just expose better sex laws.
Have you seen the way women communicate with each other, though?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
And after they finish communicating,
there are really. I get very frustrated with a lot of like the SJWs about the way they portray women because it's such a load of bullshit. Like, absolutely. I think when you get a group of men together, for example, like, yeah, they're all going to want to be top dog, but there can only be one. And they're very unlikely to, like, be sly and underhand in becoming top dog. They'll base it on whatever matters to that group of men. If it's an intellectual group of men, then the highest intellect becomes top dog. If they're a bunch of rowdy fighters, then the best rowdy fighter becomes top dog. And it's just that simple. And everyone's like, okay, I accept that. Get a group of women together and they will fucking cut each other's throats behind their backs. They will sit there and they will look you in the eye and they'll be like, oh my God, I think you're so great. Yeah, I think you're so great. And they will be ruining your life the whole time. Like, straight up, ruthlessly ruining your life.
Do you think that girls are more violent? Like, they'll be just as violent as guys?
Not violent, but they'll be vile.
They would be like little secret bitches, right? They would just be hiding. Okay.
They totally would. I think that there's a distinct difference between the way women generally execute violence and the way men generally execute violence, because men will be physically violent But you can't get away with being physically violent in order to do shit. Like, someone's going to pull you up on that at some point, and you're going to look bad. But the way women execute violence is so much more subtle and so much more underhand that women can go, like, their whole lives and never be pulled up on it. And so, like, how do you change that behavior unless you're actually, like, self-aware and self-reflective enough to be like, okay, well, do I want to be a horrible person? No, not really.
It all comes down to yourself. You're right, Esme. It's a personal thing, really. You can't try to go actively change someone else because they're awful person or whatever. You can change yourself, and you can say, this person is a piece of shit. I'm just gonna cut ties with them.
Yeah.
It's no point of keep going with this.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to a personal matter, whether you want to, to be something better than what you currently are, for example.
Yeah. I don't know, like, because I was just gonna ask you, Esma, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, would you think women would have like a standing army just like guys? Like, they would go into countless wars?
No. There would be just a bunch of nations not talking.
Jay's like, fuck everybody.
I think, first of all, if they weren't expected to be on the front line, that's definitely a possibility. If they were expected to be on the front line, then they would just hit the espionage hard. Women are the masters of espionage. I guarantee every woman alive has committed acts of personal espionage. Every single one of them.
Do you actually think that every single woman is capable? Like, they're probably capable, but they have actually went on and spied.
I think there are women who are good at it and women who are bad at it, but I think we get involved a little bit at some point, at least.
I would just think violence-wise, like, they wouldn't be able to... Wait, what?
Yeah, I was asking Esme, what's her experience with espionage? Because, because she said it was like every...
Secretly working for Trump and Putin, mate. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, of course. I was expecting, but
well, in terms of like females and what I call personal espionage, right? And obviously it's not state level espionage, but me personally, from my experiences, I have always had a lot of difficulty with most women. Getting along with them and kind of coming to grips with being around them socially, because you genuinely can't trust a lot of them. They will say things to you that are complete lies. They'll look you in the eye and lie to you. And I've done this as well. I'm not totally innocent, we all are guilty of it at some point or another. I think it's about the mechanisms you develop when you're forming your personality. We're not strong. We're not generally physically strong. We can't stop people from doing what they're doing physically. And so you develop this mechanism by which you cause harm psychologically and emotionally, and that can run away from you. And I think there are a lot of women who allow that to run away from them and are not reflective enough about it. Like what you were saying about the victim card earlier, women fucking invented the victim card.
Yeah, they did. They really fucking did. I'm not gonna fucking lie. They did it in slavery. They did it in fucking queen fucking fuckery and all that bullshit. Like, no disrespect, free the tit.
Oh, no, it's not good, man. Like, I wish it was addressed more openly and honestly by women themselves. I think there are a lot of women who will talk about it, but I think they're generally the women who found themselves at a disadvantage because they didn't go to that place as often, especially in school and stuff like this. This is the example that I always use when girls are like on the SJW flex and they're like, woohoo, we're in the girl club. Yeah, we're ladies. We're so great. I'm like, really? Did you go to school? Were you there? Because I'm remembering girls at school and I'm telling you, it's not fucking flattering.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that like the perfect girl that probably would represent that would probably be like Lauren Southern, because like she, panders all this espionage and lies and shit to make girls feel like that they need to be like a slutty version of a like a sidetracking whore, I guess.
Yeah. No, actually, I think Lauren is totally against that. She's opposite that view. Pretty sure, at least from what she's displayed.
Well, she made a video like to give advice for girls on YouTube, and when I looked at the whole video, I'm like, that is so disrespect for girls. And basically what she said to the very end of it, saying like girls are very special, but they're special to be made for like a sexual like propaganda. And I was like, no, that's more like a fuck you to women. Like I thought there's.
I could definitely see the point there. Because I know the video you're talking about, and I was in two minds about it. There's the point you've just made, because which I do agree with. I don't think women should be reduced to sexual objects.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or be taught to rely solely on their sexual power, because I think that's distasteful, and I think it's undermining to women. But at the same time, I think it was a very interesting point to make that, women do have more sexual power than men by a long old stretch. And I don't think there's anything wrong with recognizing that. And I think it can go either way using it. I would prefer not to use it, but there are definitely situations in which I have relied on my womanly wiles to get my way. And I also think as a woman who has that power, you would be limiting yourself to refuse to do so.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Of course, like if you have something at your disposal as a means of achieving your ends, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
Well, not regardless of what it is, but this is not something that harms. If you use it for bad things, then it becomes wrong, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a trial and error type thing.
Yeah.
But I see where Lauren was going with that, but then again, and she is mostly, regressive on some ends, but I guess on a certain basis, she was trying to make a point to thrash all the, little kitty, weak, pussy like assholes that try to thrash, reality to think that, everything's racist, sexist, and homophobic. Yeah, but I just don't like it because like she can play that card too, but but in my field, wait, what?
I think one of the reasons that she is as popular as she is because she was a hot girl who made her name by coming out against feminism. This is still what she's mostly known for, is the I'm Not a Feminist video, which I think was a great video, and I think it needed to be made by someone with that kind of profile. But I think also the problem with Lauren Southern is that she's smart-ish, but she's not as smart as she likes to portray herself. So sometimes her conclusions are really bad.
Yeah, they're just really fucked up. I just don't want to trust a woman that's just going to be using political infrastructure to label herself to be like, oh, I'm better than you because I know more on, issues that can outright, X amount of bias and refrain from actual logical tiered, information. So that's why, I can actually, refute better than that and say, well, I rather see everybody equal. I actually have a plan, devised to be a certain way because I want people at the end of the day to feel safe and balanced and happy, not just, like go two different ways and then everybody has like a really big, tug of war, over it.
Yeah, polarization.
And polarization.
And I think there's a lot of people, her included, that feed into this polarization and kind of use it to achieve status, and that does bother me. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think there's no need for it. If you're declaring yourself on one side or the other, you're cutting yourself off from a lot of rational, logical options that are available to choose.
Yep.
By the way, do you know what would be interesting? To see a debate between Lawrence Sutter and that woman from the Young Turks.
Anna Kasparian.
Yeah, Anna Kasparian.
Yeah.
That would be.
Get off the stage, you fat fuck.
Yeah.
Get off the stage. I'm better than you.
Get off the stage, you fat fuck.
Fucking better than you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh wait, actually, I actually do remember that. I actually made like a crazy tweet. Oh, no, I made a tweet out to Anna Kasparian telling her how dumb she is, because you know Yank is like a father figure of her stupidity.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
and like
so
everybody was laughing and saying, "Oh, that is so true." And then TYT fans were calling me a fucking coon ass nigger, and then I was like, "Oh nah." I actually went back and said, "No." I went back and said, "Hey, if you're strong enough, how about you come say that right to my face? Too bad that you're too weak enough to be a keyboard warrior."
Did they actually say that to you? Is that literally something that was said to you?
Yeah. That was like 2-3 years ago.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like talk about me not knowing how racist liberals can be like conservatives, but I mean I have never seen like the rage go that bad, because they really do think that black people need to seek insurgency, and I'm like that's what I'm saying. Like you guys really need like the minorities to be violent, but then again you don't realize that there's educated people out here. Like that's literally like the biggest problem of what these regressives and these races are.
Insidious liberal racism. It's a real problem. I point it out all the time, actually, because racism is racism, whatever way you paint it, and I actually don't even think there's something necessarily that abhorrent about a natural level of racism. Like, for example, if you go to Asia, they're fucking racist as, oh my god.
Yeah,
but
it's true.
They don't have to be necessarily awful about it. Like, a lot of it is about pointing out, like, hey, you're different to me. Look at how different you are to me. And I think that's a lot of what we have lost because of the liberal crusade that people are going on now. We're not allowed to point out our differences anymore. And that's awful, because then that is just bubbling under the surface of these liberal movements. And it's like, you guys are twice as fucking racist as
that's a really good point, Esme.
I know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it's just kind of funny, because if you are that type of PC lover, and you are saying that you promote a liberal / conservative value, then why not act like the person that you are? Stop trying to backpedal and make a bad name for your whole cult. So I mean, this is why that I just never participated in politics, because I just was like, oh, fuck this shit. Like, as you get older, you just start, getting so fed up with all this fucking, biased drama. Like, wouldn't you just say it's just getting boring at that point? Like, I mean, the only time I've actually went out and vote was for Obama back in 2012. And nobody has never told me, oh, you should not go out and vote for him. No, I just wanted to try it out, because I thought, oh, well, I just never tried it out before, so let me just go test it out. And I mean, after that, everybody is now saying, not too many people voted, every 4 years. So now I'm just saying, to myself, this is just so dumb. So no, I'm not gonna fucking vote. I mean, it's not worth my time to know that these are two groups of evil trying to make themselves look better. And then it's I'm not gonna get the best politician, because these idiots are just as retarded as a young person would be. No, but the fact is that they need young people to feed their cause. So they're gonna do it like every other fucked up first world like a superpower to get like the young, to promote their, evil, and then have like the old and moderate, middle age to be more, closet racist, I guess. Like,
well,
I don't know how to
pretty much, yeah.
It's in the closet thing. Like, if you're not going around fucking harming people and like screwing with their lives, then what does it matter what they think? Like, whose responsibility is it to go around checking that everybody's beliefs are?
Yeah, that's thought police. That's exactly thought policing. What you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to. I just want to refer to Esme's point about diversity, because that's one of the biggest like hypocrisies of the left right now, because they want to celebrate diversity and say how important diversity is, but they're only talking about skin color and beliefs. They're not talking about intellectual diversity. They're not talking about diversity of ideas. They're afraid of the open market of the ideas because it conflicts theirs. So that's hypocrisy of this this new movement, that it doesn't accept any kind of diversity except diversity within this way of thinking, if you know what I mean. So you could be black, white, Asian, atheist, Christian, Muslim, whatever you are, as long as you stick to the dogma that this view kind of like pushes down your throat. As long as you're within this framework, you're fine, whatever you are. But as long as once you get out of this framework and you're black, you're one of those supposed victim, how do you say, the minorities, like black people or Mexican people, Latinos, you're not part of them regardless. Do you know what I mean? So that's the biggest hypocrisy ever in the 21st century, that you have all kinds of diversity except intellectual diversity.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is just hypocrisy 101.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And
anyway, guys, I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna have to end this now because it is like 1:30.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that was a pretty good chat.
I was up at 7 o'clock this morning, so fuck you all.
Oh yeah.
Fuck you too, Jay.
Fuck you too, man.
We'll have more monarchy talk, and then we'll talk about the Constitution and how we can,
And we have to debate the lefty as well.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Oh yeah, next stream we gotta talk about Muslim blasphemy, and just thrash
Sharia
law.
law.
Sharia law, yes. I definitely want to.
Oh, let's get Nav on the stream.
Yeah.
Let's get Nav.
Yo, we have to talk about Sharia law. That would be super duper crazy.
We have to get Nav and Omar on the stream. Like, that would be fucking hilarious.
It would actually.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
I'm gonna crash.